Hello guys, TwinklePhoenix here. Now I normally don't do this at the start of any of my videos, but hey. I would like to first start by Seduce me to the Demon War. So, loads of you guys have seen my playthroughs and have indeed seen Diana's route. And quite a few guys have been messaging me telling me that you guys are really excited and can't wait to see her route. But there's a problem. On the Kickstarter page for the game, it turns out we need to we have to raise a certain amount before we can unlock her route. Unfortunately, we have not reached the amount needed to have her route included in the game. So, we need to keep raising money, and hopefully then we'll be able to get Diana's route. We have 22 days to raise the necessary amount to have Diana's route included in the full game. I'll keep you guys updated on whether or not we finally get to have her route, but at present, we are still short of the amount needed for her. Be sure to check the description below for more information. Anyway, let's continue now with Diana. Again, be sure to check out Diana's little part from the demo. There'll be a link below to that episode if you'd like to see it for yourself. Then decide whether or not you would like to help raise the necessary money to have her route included or not. Or if you just want to take a look at it. Diana is completely misunderstood from what I've seen her in this alone. Now, let's just continue. My heart stopped at the door where the dean was Diana, looking over at the students and smirking as her eyes landed on me. She strutted to the teacher's desk, ignoring or welcoming the whispers from the other students before sitting down on the wood, crossing her legs. That's what all teachers do.
Thank you, Dean. You can go now.
With a wave of Diana's hand, the dean left the room, closed the door and left the area. Diana smiled at us, making my stomach turn. What was she going to do?
So, history. History. Such a silly thing, isn't it? I mean, what do we care about the past? We're in the present.
The past shapes the future. The rest of the class, including Naomi and Suzu, hesitantly nodded in agreement, unsure about this new teacher, but willing to listen to more of what she had to say.
The present is so full of wonderful things. While the labors of the past are the reason we have many things, it is our chance and privilege to utilize what has been given to us.
Her charm was almost infectious. The class was practically starting to eat out of her hand. I looked around, seeing my classmates grinning and agreeing with Diana. I pressed my lips together as I listened further. I had no choice.
What's even funnier about human beings is that some of the bits of history we hear is either made up or completely biased to one side. It's like a story you read as a child.
Anybody besides me notice our teacher referred to us as human beings? Not that she is one. Anybody noticed? That's kind of weird, but whatever.
You hear of the princess and the prince, and they live happily ever after. But what about the family she left behind? What of her friends?
In a way, I think this bit here is associating with Diana. Because of what we find out in the second game. This is actually hinting towards that story with her. You know, technically I believe by here she's referring to our character as being the princess. But what if we're misinterpreting that? The students listened and agreed intently to her words. I could tell, however, these words were all directed to me.
The original story of the Little Mermaid. A perfect example of biased opinion. Here we have a girl who thinks she can be with this prince, but this prince has to marry a princess.
Yes, but in all honesty, the Little Mermaid in the Disney's interpretation was a princess herself. Thus, technically, he did marry a princess. Except she was a mermaid princess, not, you know, a human princess. Nothing in the rules said that it had to be a human that he married. In fact, I don't think there was any law against that. Thus, technically, your story of choice is very badly interpreted. Because he still married a princess. Except it was part fish.
What would happen if the mermaid had her way? What makes the mermaid so important that the princess has to suffer the consequences?
First of all, we don't even know whether or not the princess really did love the prince. If the princess had no point in wanting to love and marry the prince, I don't think they'd want to get together. They would find an alternative way of helping each other. They could become friends, and then they could actually help each other and probably, you know, go, oh, this little mermaid here loves you, prince, but I don't love you that way, but I want to help my kingdom. And then the prince could turn around and go, oh, if that's the case, then I'll help you with your kingdom. I will give you money and everything that you need to help your kingdom while being with the person I love. Seeing as You understand my feelings, and I want to give you something in return for helping. That would be nice. Keep quiet. I kept my mouth shut. There was no way I was going to let her get to me, despite her being the teacher. I was going to ignore her. There was no time what she could do if I talked back. Dana looked at me, expecting me to speak, but I merely stared at her. She glanced her face, a glad, grace mine. I didn't need to fight to win.
It's still something to think about, however, as we think of this story. It's so easy to believe that the mermaid was the heroine. But what of the poor princess? Why should the princess suffer the antics of a mermaid? The princess didn't do anything wrong to her.
True, but then again, she's a minor character that's not actually seen in the story. It was never about the princess, unfortunately. It was about the mermaid. It was all about the little mermaid, the mermaid princess from under the sea. One who conquered, who gave up everything she had to be with the person she loved. In the Disney's interpretation, whereas technically in the original story, it's not a happy ending, but Disney, color-coordinated it for kids. But there's still death in there. I'm not sure why Disney had to color-coordinate that. Because now a lot of people believe there was a happily ever after, but then again, it's Disney. Disney's got to give you happily ever afters. Or happily ever afters that continue to a sequel that really wasn't necessary to begin with. Sometimes sequels are good. Sometimes sequels are very bad. There are some that really shouldn't have been made, but hey, I'm not going to argue. More nonsense. I think this is all subliminal messages to me to make me pity her. I pity her because I know about her story. Stupid way to feel pity for her. How long was she planning to drag this out? She wasn't a real teacher. Did Anna continue to rave about the injustice the princess had suffered through while the mermaid was in the princess' sight? To Diana, it was an injustice. To me, it was a fairy tale. The boys chose me. He chose me. He wasn't going to convince me otherwise. I wasn't going to let her. Diana stretched her arms and making an obvious sexual noise and made some of the boys in the class shift in their seats. I rolled my eyes.
Well, that's enough about fairy tales. After all, the Little Mermaid was fated to lose her prince in the original story anyway. It was for the better, though. The kingdoms, I'm sure, flourished, and the prince and princess lived happily ever after.
But that's not what the story is about in the original story at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure he probably grieved. The original story was slightly depressing. Not slightly, it was very depressing. But it was never about them, it was about the Little Mermaid. That's what the story was originally about. It didn't focus on the prince and anything like that, or a princess at all. It was about this one character conquering over all these different things to try and be with someone she cares for, and in the end, well, you know, I'm making this very depressing. Let's just go back to the Disney interpretation. That's a lot easier to deal with. I'm more happier too. Maybe she's not a fan of Disney. But yes, the prince and princess flourished, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they got together. Maybe the prince tried to poison the princess, or maybe the princess tried to poison the prince, or maybe they just hated each other. Do you all remember the Swan Princess story? I mean, like the one with their dad and Derek, the whole singing and everything, and they were growing up as kids and they hated each other, and then all of a sudden, love flourished out of nowhere. Still, I'm going off on tangents everywhere. Not a word. I could tell Diana was trying to pull me to speak more and more. I knew she was wrong, but I wasn't intimidated enough to fall for her words and speak up. I stayed to just watch and observe for the remainder of the class. The class had become a lecture, no one spoke, and she spouted nonsense. Dylan stopped and looked at the clock on the wall, reading it quickly. The class barely began. Why was she looking at the time? Dana then leaned against the blackboard while smiling at me. I became worried.
You know what? School isn't important. Everyone, go ahead and head home. Take the week off.
Marvelous. The students suddenly began to chat happily or in confusion at the situation. Many thoughts was a dream come true, others knew better. Before anyone could protest, however, Dana pressed a finger to her lips and counted down with her fingers in the air. 3, 2, 1. The speakers of the classroom gently awoke, giving an announcement we never believed.
Attention students. Due to an emergency faculty meeting, we will be closing school for the remainder of the day and this entire week. Please leave the school quickly and quietly and have a good rest of the week.
Diana, I wish you could be my teacher to do that. She used her powers on them. Damn it, I felt the need to stop her, but how? How could I stop a demon in the middle of a public area? Diana smiled before gesturing to the door.
Have a nice week off. School will resume next week.
Many of the students filed out, chatting to each other about the new impromptu plans. Suzu was beyond happy, but Naomi was hesitant. Before we could pack up and leave her, Diana stepped to us.
Excuse me, little miss. I'd like you to stay a little while. There's something we need to discuss.
As Diana looked to Suzu and Naomi, she snapped her fingers, making my friends tense up.
You two can head home. Don't worry about your friend until next week, okay? If you contact her, she won't reply, so don't bother. If she contacts you, ignore her, because she's just fine.
As if on command, Suzu and Naomi left the room. I tried to march after them, but Diana stepped in my path, warning me with her eyes that if I followed, they would be hell to pay. I had lost two of my friends, at least for the week. Diana and I were alone, just like she wanted. I slammed my hands on the desk in front of me and glared at Diana. What are you doing? What are you thinking?
What? Do I not make a good teacher? I figured you should have a little lesson, so I took matters into my own hands.
What are you trying to do? Won't work.
You really think so, dear? And what makes you so sure about that?
Why was it making me so sure? Why was I so confident with the boys with this? My thoughts began to fill with doubt. All the uncertainties about those whole ideas began to cloud my mind. If the boys were found out, they'd be held to pay. Was it worth it? What about Diana? What would she do to them? Would she make my parents forget about me completely? Would she ruin my friends' lives out of spite? In my gut, I felt a stone of confidence trying to fight back, but the heaviness of my thoughts began to dissolve like a stone, little by little. What was going on with me? I looked down once again to see her gaze boring into my eyes. She was using powers on me. This time I was away from home, so I couldn't escape. Or could I? Did I want to? The way she stared at me made me feel warm and fuzzy inside my chest. It felt like melting. Then I lifted a hand under my chin around her thumb over my lips, licking her own. I could feel little shots of energy zip through under my skin into my chin where she held me.
Now, let's have a taste of that sweet, virginal sexual energy.
Nope. Damn it.